Today, the detour from my power walk will be our favorite place, the interminable path on the contemplative forest. And I'm going to talk some more about self-discipline. So it'll be more on self-discipline because so far has been the most popular of all the series that I've done on the contemplative forest. So apparently there's a need for that, but also a need for ways to learn how to do it. And that's where I come in. So self-discipline has nothing to do with willpower or control, strength, nothing to do with that. And the way that I'm going to be talking about it today will also help you evaluate the meaning and purpose in your life. So, what is self-discipline? What is the terrain of self-discipline? It has nothing to do with pleasantness or unpleasantness, as I've talked about before. It has to do with valuing yourself and whatever it is that you're trying to do. So, it's not about pleasant or unpleasant. It's about what's worth it and what's not. So if you're doing something that's pleasant, it may be worth it or not. So the problem is that people are tuning into the pleasantness and unpleasantness. And if you lead your life that way, it would be hedonistic like rats. And there's more to life. I mean, logically, you respond much better to meaning than to happiness or pleasure. It doesn't mean you have to be unhappy or have no pleasure, but it has to do with meaning. So this is what we're going to do. You evaluate what you're doing based on whether it's worth it or not, and whether you're worth it in relationship to what you're doing, not whether it's pleasant or unpleasant. Once you do that, it'll become an assessment of how much you're doing in your life just for pleasure or for meaning. And if it's just for pleasure, the meaning will be very low. And what will happen is that you'll need motivation. And motivation is for rats, not for human beings. Motivation manipulates you to do something you wouldn't do unless you were motivated with the reward or whatever it is. That's for rats. Throw your motivation books away. We're not cheerleading here. We're going deeper. So, when you evaluate whether it's worth it or not, rather than pleasant or unpleasant, you're going to find out how many things you're doing that are not worth it. And you're just doing them because they feel good. So you might be in a relationship that feels good, but is unworthy of you because you're having to do things that you normally wouldn't. And you are capitulating to things that you know are not worthy of you. Or you might be in a very unpleasant relationship, but it's worth it. Then what do? If it's workable, you work on it because it's worth it. If it's not workable, then it's not worth it anymore. But you see, then you begin to evaluate what you're doing in your life that has meaning, not just pleasure. And the beauty of it is, as you do more of this, more and more of evaluating the worthiness, you're going to be doing things that have more meaning, that are more worthwhile, and self-discipline will guide you rather than motivation. And what will be happening is that you'll be dropping what's unworthy of you and the tasks that are also unworthy of you. And you'll be around people that are more worthy. Things that are more worthy in your life will change significantly, and your health will also change significantly. Because worthiness is a powerful immune enhancer. So remember, evaluate based on worthiness, unworthiness, rather than pleasant or unpleasant. And you'll do away with motivation. The centenarians that I work with, people who are over 100 all over the world, they don't get motivated by anything. They do what's worth it, and if it's not, they don't do it. But remember, it doesn't mean that you're cavalier about it. No, if it's not worth it, I'm not going to do it. You have to go deep. So, for example, if you have a job that you don't like, but it has worthiness because you're paying your way through school or your children, whatever, then it's worthy and unpleasant. And you try to make it as meaningful rather than as pleasant as possible. And indirectly, what we'll find by doing that, you'll find that it's more doable you have greater value, and the unpleasantness just kind of drops out. Or you realize that you can find something else that's worthy. It also has a good feeling about it. But see, it's a way of evaluating, coming out of that mindlessness about approaching pleasantness and avoiding unpleasantness. That's for rats. So, self-discipline. Use worthiness rather than pleasantness. So you see, it has nothing to do with being strong or strong-willed or control. It has to do with finding meaning in what you're doing and valuing yourself in the process of doing it. Enjoy. Now, back to my power walk. Why? Because it's a worthy cause for me, and I feel worthy when I do it. Enjoy.